days have been just fucking pretty boring unless you take it to like text, and then you can have a
It
laugh
depends
at
on
the
your
memes and
perspective,
shit.
right? If you're a
But you have to
glober,
listen to this intolerable nonsense.
yeah, if
in
you're a glober,
the
it's
VC.
not that interesting unless you're trolling.
Intolerable globe nonsense.
No, I'm not. It's not. It's not. Came up. What's your definition of trolling?
Well, what you do?
Wait, well, tell me. What do I do?
You like to bicker and pick at and annoy people and wind them up.
And try and get a reaction out of them. Yeah, that's right. What do you do?
I like to raise awareness about the globe lie.
And get a reaction out of people. Why is what I do trolling, and why is what you do not trolling?
Because what I'm doing is raising awareness. We've been lied to.
No, you come on here
so I'm raising
and
the alarm.
you started saying shit in hopes of getting a reaction. Probably
Huge difference
you're
between what I
essentially
do and what
autist
you do,
wrangling, right?
Chris.
You're wrangling the autists. You're going.
Huge difference.
Who can I pull someone into this conversation? Is bio dual here?
As we were talking about yesterday,
fucking,
Chris,
or
we're
is-
able
is-
to
is Dakota
influence
Star-
millions of
I'm not
people,
Dakota, sorry,
right?
not too.
Yes, you're being rather autistic.
I don't know, like your autism's getting a bit better, Mark. Fucking, I don't know. One of the heavy.
Look,
autists,
you live
right?
to troll and annoy
You're looking
people,
for a heavy
Chris,
autist
because you obviously have a hole
get a
to
reaction
fill,
from.
satisfaction-wise, and you need some kind of love in some way. This is not going to help you, right? It's going to turn into like an addiction. You need more and more and more and more and more. We're on the same thing. Like you say, it's the same script every day.
I was distracted. I was talking to someone else in text, in another server. What did you just say?
I'm saying that you're going to be looking for that high of trolling or pranking the next person.
Right, no, but let's say let's just assume that that's true for the sake of argument. I'm still struggling to understand why what you just did a moment ago when I said it was like when because I heard it right. I was talking to someone on another server. You fucking started speaking up, and I went, oh, there's Chemo fucking try to get a reaction from the autists, right? You're saying that I try and get a reaction from
this, right? If I could monologue,
I admit it, I do.
If I could monologue for hours,
you can call it trolling if you want,
then
but why don't you call what you do trolling too?
No, because if I could monologue for hours on end uninterrupted, that would be great. I don't need, because it's not a debate, Chris. Obviously, the only reason why we ask... The reason why we ask is because, we like to raise awareness to those who think that there may be evidence. And we can talk about if there is that evidence and just go through it. So again, it doesn't need, like Witsit, for example, you've seen Nathan, you've seen QE, you've seen lots of flat earthers, you've seen Lemon here.
Getting off topic here. You were looking for someone to go
again,
and
got
challenge
it wrong,
what you
Chris.
just said. You're looking for a reaction.
Look at Dal. Dal can sit on there for hours. No one on the show.
That is trolling.
No, you're
then
wrong.
Why isn't it what you do trolling too?
Because you're wrong. I don't need to get a reaction out of anybody. What I say
you do, Chemo. That's what you do. You're the fucking. I
was just about to say it may look like that, and it seems like what I say is looking for it, but it's not. I'm explaining to you how, breaking it down very frankly. Okay, no holds bars. Okay,
Chemo.
See, Chris, I'm not trying to get a reaction here. I'm just explaining what's going on.
You're just lying about it because you realise that you're a hypocrite. And
no. Because I'm showing you right now, I could go on, if allowed, for hours on end. Uninterrupted.
No, you could. That is true. But you know that it wouldn't happen. You know that it wouldn't happen because...
No, I don't know that.
Right, well, why don't you just fucking mute everyone, then we'll find out how long Jim will allow that to stand.
Why would I mute everyone? It's not for me to monologue.
Because let's find out how long that you can monologue for. Why would you want to just monologue?
That's where you're wrong. Because
why would you want to engage someone?
I said if I could, I would. But it's not for that. Why would you want to engage someone
and the argument and get a reaction from them?
It's not for that. It's not for me to monologue for hours on end.
Think about the behaviour a bit.
So make your mind up, Chris. Is it for me to monologue for hours on end, which is not what the idea is, or is it for people to have a conversation?
It's for people to have a
for you to prank and control everybody.
But no, Chemo. That's fucking rich coming from you.
You see, the idea is: should I monologue or should we get a conversation going on?
In hopes of getting a reaction, which eventually he always does.
What is it? I don't understand your point of view.
Is the which is fine. I'm just struggling to understand.
What's your view? I should not get people to talk or get people to talk. Chris.
Chemo, can I ask you a question?
Chris, hold on. Chris, is the idea to not get people to talk or to get people
That's not what we're discussing here, Kimo. That's not what we're discussing. We're discussing you calling me a troll whilst also trying to avoid the label troll yourself. Kimo,
no, I'm not here for
you're
that.
known as one of the biggest fucking trolls here.
Yeah,
you have been for years.
That's what you say, but that's not how I see it.
Of course you're going to say that. You're a liar, a pathological liar.
That's not how I see it.
Of course you're going to say that.
Well, I mean, again, it doesn't matter what you think or what, it's not about me.
If it doesn't matter what anyone thinks, then why do you do this?
It's about the fruits, right? So I deliver flat earth awareness
and who's the fruit? Who's supposed to consume the fruit?
No, I'm just saying, so the public are aware of
why are you talking about? Why are you making the flat earth fruit? Because that sounds very similar to like the forbidden fruit. Is this like forbidden knowledge and you're going to hell?
I'm just saying some people talk the talk and others walk the walk. So I've been out there.
You talk the talk. You don't do anything. That's how you do,
Kino. The debates. I've done what's necessary to show that we're not on a globe. Okay. So again, it doesn't matter what you say or anyone says. I'm on my mission.
Objection, Your Honor.
And that's to raise maximum awareness about the globe life.
You guys, but I honestly don't.
But who are you doing this for? You must be doing it for other people, right? For other people to think about it and discuss it and react and engage in it, right?
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, that's
right. So then why is what you do not trolling when what I do is essentially the same thing? Only it's just for my own amusement, really.
Because we've been lied to about the shape of the earth.
Right, but you are trying to get a reaction out of people for your own sick, twisted, distorted ends, right? I'm doing the same thing, right? Yeah. You call what I do trolling. Why don't you call what you do trolling, Kimo? It's the same thing.
I'm not trying to upset anybody, whereas
Kimo, you're not even sincere. You don't even believe the Earth's fucking flat.
Well, I mean, again, it's not about what I think. It's not about me. About what we can demonstrate.
Well, you're the one raising awareness. You're the one here, so it kind of has to be about you. I mean, it just has to be by default.
Well, I mean, again,
and if it's not about you, then I suppose you're just going to delete your account.
All I'm interested in is raising
Why don't you delete your account, Kimo? If it's not about you, why don't you delete the account?
Fully aware.
Kimo, could the flat earth survive without you?
It's not about me, Chris.
Could it? It's not about you, so it almost certainly could, right? That's a tacit agreement that flat earth will survive without Kimo and the fucking fly out.
Look, this is what you do. Look, this is what you do. This is where you get your kicks. Okay.
Would you raise more awareness on this server or on like Speaker's Corner every day?
Look, this is how you're getting your jollies.
Would you reach more people on Speaker's Corner or on this server?
It doesn't matter. We get 10,000 people.
If you would reach more people on Speaker's Corner, going there every day, or I don't know, just setting up a fucking loudspeaker in a very busy high street.
We reach thousands of people a month.
Right, then why don't you do that? If it's all about raising awareness, why don't you just fuck off to one of the high streets, set up your little fucking mental booth with your fucking mental loudspeaker that fucking cunt wits it? Why don't you go to Mount Rushmore? And do that every day. And raise awareness instead of fucking on here and getting like 30, 40, maybe,
you get your kicks
30, 40 people in here, maybe like 30, 40 people in YouTube.
Look at you go, right?
No one listens.
I mean, that traffic will change. So maybe, I don't know, maybe reach a couple hundred, 300 a day at best.
Get off the steroids,
thousands.
This sounds like steroid talk.
So I'm just struggling to understand, Kimo, if this is about raising awareness, why you won't use every tool at your disposal and raise maximum awareness. Why don't you stage a fucking event? Why don't you climb a really tall building, right, and threaten to jump off and get all the press to come in? Like, instead of jumping off, you just unveil the Earth is flat sign. Like, that would fucking raise massive awareness.
Right now, Chris, flat Earth is in.
And imagine you jumped to fucking hell, man.
Flat Earth is in great hands, in great
condition,
get everything
you
in a
want,
great position right now. I mean. The awareness is at a maximum all-time high. You can speak to anyone about the flat Earth. You don't even need to do, like I say, those things about going to the streets is not that necessary these days.
Parliament, when Prime Minister's questions, why don't you invade Parliament? And Prime Minister's questions,
Chris, you know why?
What do they call it? A streaker? Why don't you do a streak through
You're
Parliament?
trying to upset me, and I'm not trying to upset you. That's the difference between what I do and what you do.
Millions of people, you go viral, Chemo.
You see?
Chris, you know why he comes here? Because he loves us.
Oh, yeah, of course.
That's the real reason.
You guys are humans, just like the rest of the population have been deceived. And, like we've heard with thousands of people here listen in, tune in to the information about the shape of the Earth. And, we provide, full awareness, guys. Constantly, and that's what people want to hear. They want to know what's going on in this world.
It's obviously not full awareness though, right? Because I've just given you like 2 or 3 ways of raising like even more awareness than you could possibly even imagine raising on this server. Yet you choose to spend your time day after day putting in early shifts, 8 to fucking 12 at night, 8 in the morning to like 12 at night, just here, like with the same cunts, talking to the same people about the same thing, not really raising awareness, just basically trolling.
Well, for me, it's working. We're seeing new faces. We're seeing it. And sorry, Hannah, go on.
Said the flat Earth is pretty much just a troll meme.
Yeah. I mean, it is. Of course, it is.
I mean, again, all I can say is, like I said,
Chris, we know you're right in reality, but you're not right in Chemo's reality.
Oh, okay.
I get it. I mean, I hear the panic in the globe earthers. I mean, again, like
there's no panic, Chemo. I mean, that's you again trying to. Now you want to get away from this. You're desperate to get away from this. I can tell, man.
No, I hear what you're saying. Why would you work so hard? Why would you put in so much effort?
No, you're not. No. Okay, right, let's assume that you are working very, very hard. Why would you work so hard to reach so few people? When I've given you examples of ways you don't really have to work quite as hard, and you'll reach at least 10 times more people.
I mean, what we're doing right now, Chris, I mean, millions of people are aware. We've got the lockdowns right now.
Can't handle the 2 new people they get a year.
We've got the lockdowns right now, so a lot of people are online, Chris.
So they got to slow down. Pump the brakes, Chris.
The interest in the flat Earth is huge. So...
Jim McCabe multiplied 2 times 10.
For me, I mean, as long as people
Did you hear that big suck after we just made that fucking massive lie?
I just mean, look at
that graph. His body wanted to definitely not an all-time high.
All we see is growth.
His body wanted to drag back that massive lion because he knew he just made Jesus weep. So he went trying to suck the lies back in that came out of his soul, his dark soul.
Well, as long as we see growth,
Chemo, do you know how to read a graph?
Why are you sucking on souls, Chemo?
The growth on what we're seeing is because we're seeing a reduction on YouTube.
Chemo, can you read a graph?
But we're seeing fantastic growth.
Chemo, can you read a graph,
TikTok,
buddy?
On Twitter, Facebook.
No,
I mean, these places are absolutely exploding with flat Earth content and flat Earth questions and interest. Yeah, YouTube have done their job. They've censored it. They've made sure that people are not privy to the information. But it's not the only place. There are different avenues which
Do you have any statistics to back this?
We're utilizing all these other platforms, and the awareness is at an all-time high. Can't see this.
Not according to any data or metric that I can find. Do you have any data to back that up? Or
we've been through the stats yesterday. We've got millions in England. We've got millions in America.
No, the data. You're just making more claims. I'd like to see the data behind those claims.
I'm not going to go posting it again. It's been up there. Scroll through yesterday's scrolls. You'll see everything you need to see.
No, sorry. I'm not doing it.
It's already been posted. It's done.
Been done.
No one's seen it, but it's been posted.
Nobody's seen it. Nobody acknowledged it. Nobody interpreted it.
This was yesterday's news, dude. We saw all the stats yesterday. We know in England there are millions.
Why do you insist that we provide the evidence over and over and over for you to hand wave away? But when we ask for something, you always refuse to bring it.
Well, it's here in the chat. You've got to do scroll up.
Because he has no evidence.
Okay, well,
to be fair, we did go over this about 24 hours ago.
Only just as well, so there's no point.
So did he actually provide evidence for those of you who are here?
Yeah, he did
Millions of people in the UK,
all the usual surveys and stuff. Yeah, he did all that.
Got everything you need to succeed in this life to understand that that people are aware of the flat Earth, and they're denying NASA photographs, images, space idea, and they're thinking, well, what is the shape? What is the Earth? And that's what we can do, Chris, is get those polls, rising in stats. What we can do. Starts with no percent, you're on 1%, slowly but surely. Yeah, 50%. Next thing you know, everyone's back on the flat Earth. That's the dream, that's the goal, right? I think we're getting there, because very few people are willing to defend the globe now, as they know.
Sorry, I'm in another server because you're fucking boring me. What were you saying?
Kimo.
How
are you doing, Kimo?
What's going on?
Oh, fucking hell.
Hey, I actually think that you and I can actually
don't do anything, just fucking jump off.
See, now that's the difference, Chris. You're here to troll. Now, Charlie is one of your friends, should be one of your colleagues, but for some reason, you're not on the same side as a Glober. That shows what you're here for.
Kimo, would you agree that we generally have civil and productive conversations, you and I?
Oh, wow. I have even with Chris now here, this was civil productive, I would say. We got to a certain point, yeah.
Well,
I know it might not seem that, but he's Scottish. Don't worry about that. That's just how they all talk.
That's an outrageous fucking insult. I'm offended on behalf of all Scots, and we'll be taking this up with our chieftains.
Just a wee joke. Go on, Charlie.
Oh, no, let's not. Charlie's a fucking autistic motherfucker. He just wants to
come
on here and preen and go, look how fucking smart I am. And
I'm okay
with
him saying this shit.
Look at how ripped my tattoos are, guy.
Oh, I know. Yeah, man. You want to see his tattoo? Oh, fuck. Oh, nearly posted that in the wrong server. That went down.
I might go blind. Those edges are so sharp.
So edgy.
And that's the thing, man. It's not supposed to be edgy at all. This is what we do in the server. It's a historic reference to things we do in the server. It's like an inside joke, but you wouldn't get it because you're a fucking autistic motherfucker.
Goodness sakes, Chris, you need to get a girlfriend. Still no girlfriend.
Yeah, I do. That's true. I do.
Still no girlfriend.
I'm close, Kimo. I'm pretty much.
Not with this attitude, you're not going to find a lassie.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Come on.
Charlie, argue with Kimo, quick.
Charlie, yes, we're going to get into...
No, let's not.
Well, I did have a couple of questions for you.
I'm just looking for this tattoo.
You want the pickup line, Chris?
I already posted up a picture of it. So I have a couple of questions for you. So do you remember...
Oh, okay.
You remember the whole reflected light can't cause rainbows thing, right?
No, I don't want to get into that. You've already proved it. Let's move on.
I know, but I'm interested as to why you were so sure the opposite claim was true.
Very well, Charlie.
Come on.
Stop rubbing it in now.
What? I'm not rubbing it in. I just think it's interesting that you were so sure.
Charlie,
and that's okay. I mean, I'm so sure about certain things that I get proven wrong.
You're rubbing it in.
Right?
You're just showing off.
I'm really not.
What did
if it makes you feel more comfortable, I can share with you things that I'm wrong about. Right?
All right, it's no big deal. Let's move forward. You practically showed it. Okay, fine.
I'm right, but I don't accept your claim that I'm doing this to rub it in. I'm not.
Yeah, you show it off.
What did
I'm
he
not
prove?
showing off.
You didn't do anything.
So Kimo was under the presumption that reflected light can't cause rainbows, and I did it in my backyard.
Fucking hell.
Show that it can.
Why in the world did he think that?
Well, that's what I'm interested in.
Doesn't matter.
Why was he so sure?
Doesn't matter. So what else can you do practically like that to show her on a globe?
Well, I want to know why you thought the opposite claim was true, because I think that's more revealing about how you think.
No, fuck that.
I'm curious, Kimo. Why'd you say that was
aren't you?
Did you do it inside or outside?
I mean, somebody can post a video. I posted up like a 2-minute video.
Were you outside?
Yeah, I was outside. It was in the sunlight.
Did it reflect? Was the rainbow in the shape of your reflection? Your reflection, you know what I mean? So you reflected a light. Okay, you know when you take a light and you reflect it off of a mirror, right? And spray some. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So was your rainbow in the shape of whatever you were bouncing the light off of?
No, it was circular.
So you were outside?
I was outside. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Have you ever tried to do it inside using a flat mirror?
No, because I'm not going to spray the inside of my house with water.
Well, you can go to just use go in your garage or something. You don't have to use a lot of water, like some type of mister.
No, why don't you do it? Why don't you do it and record and get that to us?
I've seen it done inside the garage.
He doesn't own he only owns cryptocurrencies, okay? He doesn't own any property.
I'm not saying that it doesn't work. What I'm trying to say is what's cool is when you do it inside and not outside and you use a mister or whatever, you'll find that the rainbow is in the shape of whatever the shape is that you're reflecting off of. Which I find
but that's actually
where the lights
you can actually get it to without a mirror. You can get it to work inside.
The property that causes the rainbow to happen is the angle of the light with the surface of the droplets. And that makes a circular shape.
Well, from what I've seen straight ones, and then you bounce it off of a curved piece of glass or something, then I'll see curved ones, just like outside, but I don't know. I'll have to try it.
So, Kimo, what I'm interested in knowing is like why you were so certain the opposite claim was true. And again, I know that you think I'm rubbing it in, but I'm not. I just think it's interesting when people are so sure about something that they're actually wrong about, which happens to me as well. Okay, if it makes you feel any better, I was certain that you could take Snell's law and then use calculus to use it on like a continuous, like a medium with a continuously varying like index of refraction. But it turns out you actually can't do that.
Yeah,
and I was just wrong about that. Yeah.
Well, it's not a big deal, right?
Not a big deal.
People are wrong.
It's not a big deal to be wrong. It's not.
Hope you do.
Hey, didn't Einstein say that science hasn't figured out why? What are those things that you use little metal rods to find water? You see these country guys. Yeah, didn't he mention something about?
It doesn't work.
Yeah, but didn't Einstein talk about it, and he actually believed in it?
No.
Are you sure? Because I just heard somebody on a radio show actually talking about Einstein and what his quote was.
They were talking about it on the radio? Oh, it must be.
No, a radio show. A doctor was being interviewed. A doctor was being interviewed, and the doctor was quoting, and then he quoted something about Einstein. I thought it was interesting that he was talking about Einstein said something about that science won't be able to, or hasn't caught up with understanding how it works or something like that.
Mr. Reality, you are very dubious at best for giving quotes. So you need to really show us this quote.
Tell me.
Yeah, right now. Go verify it. Go verify it. So I think what Charlie's doing here actually is asking Kimo why his scientific literacy goes against all evidential science. Every single time. I think that's what Charlie's asking. Yeah.
Damn, what's up?
What's up, man? Just cleaning my pool. It's kind of fucking boring, so I'm trying to spice it up by calling Kimo fucking retarded. So.
Hey!
Pool?
Oh, you're just upset because Charlie was able to put up something practical and you was not.
But I thought he did.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. But again, why is your literacy of science anti-science when evidence is presented? Why is all of your claims opposite from evidentiary?
Because he can't read.
I mean, like I say, Charlie's doing his experiment. It was accepted.
But why is the question, though?
Right, I didn't ask
about
But why
Charlie. Were you so sure that the opposite result would be found, is my question.
I'd never seen such an experiment. Or practical...
Right,
but wouldn't the more reasonable stance to take would be that you don't know what happens, rather than it's not going to happen?
An assertion.
I mean, you could assume. Yeah, you could assume it without testing it, but it doesn't mean you're right, right?
No, it doesn't mean you're right. But what it indicates is that if you can make an accurate,
you remind me of myself.
If you can make an accurate prediction using critical thinking skills as well as known science, using all of those things combined, you can make accurate predictions even without experiment. But it seems like every prediction that you make is opposite from what is true every single time. That's the issue.
Well, we don't make predictions. We have hypothesis. looks at the cause.
It sounds like you had a prediction and Charlie had an opposite prediction, that an evidence was provided and you were opposite wrong. That's what that sounds like. Was that not a prediction that you made?
No, it was prove his claim.
So you didn't make a claim that it would do something, and the evidence showed it doing the opposite. You did not do that. Okay, fine, Charlie. Is it your understanding that Chemo made a prediction before this was carried out? Okay, there you go. Perfect.
Yeah, well, there's no predictions. Just got a claim, back it up. And that's what we're looking for from you, Bio, is to back up your claim, but you ended up showing lasers, which is not part of the deal here. The deal was to show mass attracting mass, and you failed to show that. That's unfortunate.
So the funny thing is that I was the first person to do that.
The opinions of retards don't affect me, and the opinions of retards doesn't change science. So as soon as you come with something that's not retarded, I'll take it to the bank.
Look, Charlie, when we ask you, if you ever decide to do the next experiment now with Cavendish in a vacuum and show the actual mass attracting, not lasers, not interested in the lasers, show us the actual mass, then yeah, you'll get another concession here.
Chemo, I don't know how much money that will cost me, and I'm not going to spend hundreds of dollars.
Just ask Bio to send you what he bought, borrow it for a little bit, and then send it back when you finish. But show what he didn't.
You can perform the experiment. I told you, I'll give it to you at cost. I'll pay for shipping, and then you can get all the material that I use.
Give it to Charlie here. Charlie's across the road here.
How much would it cost me?
Give it to Charlie here.
How much would it cost me?
Give it to Charlie.
To buy materials.
This isn't how science works. Science works.
Charlie wants it now.
Hold on, Chemo. Science works in the way that if you dispute a claim, you repeat the methodology and the experiment, and you expect to find different results. That's how science goes.
Repeat it.
It's in the business of disproving. So, in your point of view, you should be repeating the experiment with the same methodology, the same materials, and you should get a different result.
And then to repeat, you didn't do it in the first place. Charlie going to do it for the first time.
Can you stop interrupting, Chemo, please? Just let people finish.
So, Charlie, get the stuff off Bio and then show what Bio didn't. That the mass attracts mass.
You're still projecting. Because I told you.
How much would it cost me to buy all the things messed up and do it? How much would it cost me ballpark?
You don't even have to go that crazy. You just need an acrylic chamber, and you need some wire, you need some masses. Boom, boom, boom. That's all you need.
Okay.
Get that done, Charlie. Concession number 2, and we're back on the table. But right now, you don't have a force, because Bio failed to show any forces attracting to any of the masses and all that kind of stuff. He just showed bouts and lasers, which is a nonsense. No one has to see any lasers.
Your retarded opinion doesn't change anything.
Look, you won't even let me finish, you see?
No, I won't, because you won't let me finish earlier. So I'm not going to let you finish when you're lying. Your retarded claims and your retarded opinion doesn't change science and what's evidentiary. That's the beauty of science, is that your brain and your opinion doesn't change shit unless you provide evidence, which you never do.
You're wrong, because we have a huge influence on how the next generation understand the world. So get chop.
Right. Retards and influencing retards. Yeah, you're right.
Get your experiments the way that we like them.
I have no problem saying a vast majority of people on Earth, especially in America, are retards. So yeah, retards influencing other retards.
Can call whoever you want names.
Chemo.
So surprising.
Chemo, do you need to go to the
burn ward? You can call these people names if you want. I don't see it like that. Okay, people want evidence and science. Unless you can back that up, they're going to listen to what we say. Because again, we influence huge amounts of people when it comes to the shape of the Earth. So it does matter what we say.
Getting their information. They're getting their information from janitors, garbage men, YouTube personalities. No one based in science. That's where they're getting their science.
You can moan, cry, and do whatever you need to do. The fact is, we're still influencing huge amounts, hordes of people and young people are listening to us because you guys are failing to deliver what we are asking you for. Now, if Charlie wants to take your equipment,
not according to what you posted.
If Charlie wants to take your equipment and replicate or do it for the very first time, show mass actually attracting mass, and listen to what we say, Charlie, like you did the first time, and you'll get the concession that is needed. But
why would you trust me though?
What?
Why would you trust me?
That's funny. That's exactly what Chemo said when he first asked Biodual to do this.
He didn't do what was said. We told him to move the camera while it was live. He said, no, I can't move the camera while I'm live now. What do you mean? What do you mean by you can't move the camera? You're live now. Move the camera. Oh no, I can't move the camera right now.
I could explain it. I could explain it, right?
Well, there you go. Excuses, excuses. Charlie, listen to this. No excuses, Charlie.
Here, Chemo. The reason why I didn't move it is because the experiment was running.
Charlie, listen to these excuses.
Hold on.
Stop over-talking, Chemo.
Chemo, why would you want me to manipulate or change the experiment while the experiment is running?
Not hearing any excuses.
Why would I do that?
Stop over-talking, Chemo.
I'm not hearing any excuses. Ask me a question, so stop. You stop interrupting.
All right, so answer the question.
Yeah, stop. You stop interrupting. He's asking me questions.
Right,
you are interrupting like
no,
crazy,
you are interrupting the questions being asked.
No, they didn't even finish the questions before you started answering them. You realize this?
Right, so Charlie, pay attention. Excuses.
Do you realize that?
You don't want them.
No? You're still not answering the question, Chemo. Why would I compromise the experiment while the experiment's running? Why would I do that?
It's an excuse to me.
No, I'm asking you a question.
I don't know. I don't have the answer of why you did it wrong.
Yeah, but you have claims, though. You're accusing me. You just said I'm a liar and I'm making excuses.
Charlie, we were watching it live with him.
Stop interrupting, Chemo.
If you don't understand why you wouldn't compromise an experiment while an experiment is running, that is your scientific illiteracy showing face value.
Well, Charlie can hear all the excuses, Charlie, and this is what we don't want from you if you ever attempt this, okay?
Charlie.
Put the camera on the masses so we can see the mass-attracted mass. Okay, none of this, oh, I can't bring the camera near because, I'm in the middle of something. No, especially when you knocked the chamber already. You already messed the device up by knocking it in the first place. And you said it would take, days to settle. A couple of hours later, it's settled. Great, let's go. Yeah, we don't think so, Charlie, right? Make sure I do science correctly.
I'm going to address it. I'm going to address something that you said that's very important. You're right, I did bump the chamber and compromise it. Do you remember what I did? Did I continue carrying out the experiment, or did I erase everything that I did and reset the entire experiment? Which one of those did I do after I compromised the experiment?
Pay attention, Charlie, to all of this. Don't do.
Which one did he do, Kimo?
I don't know. I can't even remember, but it was all messed up.
Okay, then I will tell you.
The only problem that I've had with what he's saying is that he keeps constantly insulting you. But honestly, besides that, everything he said sounds reasonable to me. And I will redo the experiment if you want, as long as it doesn't cost me an obscene amount of money. I'll redo it live for you if you want, and I'll bend over backwards to move the camera.
It's a little bit, but so I will tell you. Yes, I did bump it. I was introducing masses while it was at rest without masses. I bumped it and said, "Oh fuck!" Erased all of my results because I compromised it, and I reset the whole thing. That's exactly what happened. That's how you perform science. If you compromise your experiment, you reset and start over.
Charlie, you had a cat there knocking the... It was all terrible. Completely messed up.
What did the cat do? What did the cat do? Say it. Say it out loud so we know if you're a liar or
just had a cat in the video, Charlie. Think about that.
What did the cat do? What did the cat do?
Think about the electromagnetic energy a cat produces, right? They can pick up extra sensory perception, paranormal stuff, so they can project things out that will make...
Okay, Timo, now I'm suspecting you're trolling.
Could you repeat that phrase one more time, word for word?
Well, I'm just exaggerating. I'm slightly exaggerating, but there's a cat in the room, and there could be a slight issue there. I don't know why you had it in the place in the first place.
So,
why is he exaggerating? Hold on, slightly exaggerating. So he's only slightly paranormally picking up signals.
Kimo, why did you keep bringing up the Baodu bumped the experiment, but not bringing up the fact that he then reset everything correctly?
Again, it's all flawed when he says it's going to take a couple of days or a day to settle, and then after a couple of hours, he's like, I'm ready. I don't think so.
That's just you lying, Kimo. Why are you lying?
He said on the day, it's going to take days to settle, and then after a couple of hours, he was ready.
So it was faster than expected.
Yeah, exactly. Who's lying?
So what? He was not lying. He was incorrect. That's fine. What's all that?
But who's lying? Where did I lie?
You are when you omit the fact that he reset the experiment correctly.
Yeah, he said it's going to take a couple of days to settle.
And then he was found out that he was wrong about that.
Okay, then just did it after a couple of hours, yeah?
Yes, evidently. I didn't see it, but yeah.
Well, there you go. You didn't see it, yet you have an opinion on nothing that you know nothing about.
I know this. I know that he says that you are omitting the fact that
you believe what anyone says against
you. Maybe he was exaggerating. Maybe he was exaggerating how you exaggerated about the cat,
Maybe slight exaggerations, but Charlie, the idea is that no excuses are allowed, right? We need to see the mass attracting the mass to prove that it's a force.
No, excuses sometimes are good. Generally, when somebody puts up excuse after excuse, your bullshit meter should be going up, but sometimes excuses are good. Sometimes excuses have a good reason,
Like, you don't go from it's going to take a day to settle, then a couple of hours. Oh, hey guys, I'm ready. Because he got lazy.
Yes, you can.
He got lazy.
I have been that
No. He couldn't be bothered. No, he knocked it. So after waiting for ages already, he messed it up. So it's like, oh, I've got to go through all that again. Right?
You got to blow it up and build
he
a new
let it
one.
reset, right, Kimo?
When Charlie, the first time he got it to keep still, it took ages. Right? Ages to keep it from moving. Bumps it.
Yeah, it didn't take that long.
What does this have to do with him, the experiment not being valid?
Because he didn't show the masses attracting. Go look at the video and show me where the masses are attracting.
You just said the problem was the time frame that he gave, right? And now you're saying that the result, what part of the experiment is not good for you?
Right. What he needs to do is show the mass.
No. What part didn't you see?
The mass attracting the mass. He showed laser
so
lights.
It's got nothing to do
Look,
with him telling you it's taking it will take a day, and then it took just a few hours. It's got nothing to do with that.
Fine,
right?
no, if that's what he wants, but the point is, it still didn't show that the mass.
No, it's what you said, dude. It's not. I'm trying to understand what you're saying. So your complaint the complaint you gave before about the time frame is irrelevant, correct?
No, lots of complaints, but we can, just for the sake of it, say, okay, fine, couple of hours.
So which part is not good for you?
I've just said, for the sake of argument, we can say, okay, couple of hours, it was ready. Now, okay, you're ready, are you? Let's see the mass attracting the mass, and that was failed to deliver.
No, that was the light, because the movement of these things are so minusculely small that you exaggerate this movement by extending the radius of this light. That's why the light is used in the
Makes sense, Kimo.
Blah, blah, blah. Don't be saying that, Charlie, when you're doing... If you're going to do that, Charlie, don't bother. That's all I have to say, right?
Charlie, if you're going to use science, if you're going to use science and logic, and you're going to exaggerate your motion so it's more readily seen, don't do that. What we want is something so vague and minuscule that it's up for interpretation rather than being empirical. That's what
Charlie, we've already worked together, right? Where I was telling you the same thing now, like I'm telling you, doesn't work, not going to do it, blah, blah, blah. And then you come along, bang, watch this, bang, rainbow, reflected, bang, end of subject.
This
right?
is kind of a contradiction from you, Kimo, because you said that you set up the experiment with Biodual. So if you set it up with them, why aren't you happy with the results that it gives?
No. We talked about.
I wasn't with Bio. Nothing to do with Bio. Wasn't working.
We talked about everything. We talked about everything before.
I was nothing to do with Bio whatsoever. He did all on his own. And then what he was doing.
We talked about.
No. You sat in here and said you two were doing the experiment together.
You did say that many times.
You said you were doing this.
I can explain. So when the actual experiment was happening, and I was like, Bio, put the camera over here a little bit. He broke the rules. He was like, no, I'm not going to do that. So we broke the partnership there and then. Once he decided I'm going to do it my way.
This is irrelevant. We're not talking about once he set up the experiment. We're talking about the conceptual design of the experiment.
We were ready together. Yes, we were on the whole way path. But then he broke the
experiment. You have how you're going to get the metric for whether the experiment fails or succeeds, and that metric is watching the.
Watching the what? No, he didn't say anything about lasers. Never ever mentioned lasers.
Oh, of course I did.
That happens,
of course I did.
You go, no, that's not good enough for me.
You're going to watch lasers moving.
Of the experiment, not after.
Of course I did. Kimo, of course I did. That's why would I fully understand, build, operate, and run this experiment, but fail to give you one of the most important aspects of the experiment? Why would I fail to ever mention that, as well as provide you experimental evidence using lasers, as well as Big Blue using... No experiment done in the modern day doesn't use an experiment. So why is a laser being used? Such a surprise, apparently.
That was the problem. He spoke to Blue in the last moment, and really...
So all that I just said is that's going to be your response. Okay.
Because lasers was not part of the deal here. The deal was to show objects moving.
It was the whole time.
No, but my statement before you did it was nobody has seen mass attracting mass in a vacuum. Nobody has witnessed that.
Well, now everybody here has.
We still have not witnessed that. Nobody's seen the masses moving. Right?
So how many of y'all believe that the dowse actually works with your nervous system and some sort of unknown factor, supernatural factor.
What?
Anybody? Well, I'm reading here where Einstein said that when you dowse, use a dowser, that he believed that the nervous system of the human body is also reacting to some type of unknown factor at this time we don't know about.
But what are you talking about? Some paranormal stuff?
That's what Einstein believed. He says here that the dowser rod is a simple instrument which shows the reaction of the human nervous system to certain factors which are unknown to us at this time.
How does that have to do with what you're talking
about? What's it got to do with gravity?
So no, this has to do with what people believe and with all their heart, but then find out, later on that they're actually wrong, but Einstein actually believed something to be true.
Yeah, but what about mass attracting mass in a vacuum?
Well, I mean, people believe it, but have we seen it?
No, that's what I'm trying to say.
A bunch of us watched a live stream about a month.
Show him. What's the names he got today?
Everyone here saw it and accepted the results except for Chemo, who, surprise, didn't.
Get what name you had before. But have a look at this experiment if you can see mass attracting mass. Take a look. Drool pigeon.
Do you think you'll ever dare to do the experiment yourself?
Come back and let us know what you think of that BioJules laser experiment.
Of course he won't do it, because then he'll have something to base his claims on. And if his claim goes against his evidence in his experiment, then he can't do it because it goes against his worldview. So with a lack of evidence, he can make whatever claim he wants. That's his power.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Don't do any of these experiments.
Show him your laser experiment. Yes.
Chemo, did you do this experiment? Will you dare to do it?
Well,
do you think you can? Do you think you can actually build an experiment?
Well, now we've got Charlie. He's going to repeat it now.
No. I'm asking you.
Well,
will
again,
you do the experiment?
I would, but it's not my claim.
It's not
my claim that mass attracts us.
You claimed up and down the fucking sidewalk that you can't have mass attracting mass in a vacuum. That is 100% your claim.
That's my claim, yes.
Yeah, how can you prove it? Do you think there's a way for you to build an experiment that shows us that mass cannot attract mass?
Emo doesn't need to prove it. It's a negative claim. You guys are saying
I know.
That's true as well. But BioJules showed us that no one can see mass attracting mass. See lasers, but not the mass moving.
Yeah, and what? You can see lasers?
Yeah, not.
You mean light?
Yeah, not in
the masses are moving. The masses have to move.
Oh, they have to move, but we can't see it.
Hold on, Chemo. Before you get your dick wet, hold on. So the laser is on a fixed spot, not moving. If the pendulum inside is not moving, the light that's deviating onto my freezer will not move. Now, as long as I don't touch and manipulate and compromise the experiment, the only way for that light to deviate is for that bar on the inside to be moving. And following the hypothesis, as well as the theory, as well as other evidences provided, the only time it moved is when you manipulated the external mass on the outside. That's the only time any movement occurred.
Did you repeat it?
No. I've said it way too many times. No.
Chemo, how about you repeat it? Would you even dare to try to build this at home? Do you have the courage to do that?
No
to
way.
see the result in your own eyes?
I'm myself into a fool by showing that mass doesn't attract mass and claiming that it does.
So you don't have the courage or the integrity to build it in your own home to test that.
No, it's not my claim.
You don't have the courage, right?
It is your claim that it doesn't occur. And within science, that's one of the things that you can prove.
Would you be willing to do an experiment where mass stays at rest in a vacuum with larger masses introduced? Would you be willing to do that experiment?
No, again.
Amazing. What experiment will you do?
That should be easily doable and verifiable by you.
No, I'm not about to do a claim that's not mine. Do an experiment for a claim that I don't possess. That'd be crazy.
You said that mass does not attract mass, right?
Yeah, that's a made-up idea.
Yeah.
Like,
is that a claim? Is that a claim? When you say mass does not attract mass, is that a claim?
So if you say fairies exist and I say no, they don't, should I prove fairies exist?
That's not my question. When you say mass does not attract mass, you actually stating something. You're stating something.
Yeah.
Is that a statement? Is that a claim?
That's what I've just asked you. The same thing as if you make up something which is like mass attracting mass, fairies, and then say it does exist, prove it doesn't exist. How can I prove fairies do not exist? How can I prove gravity does not exist?
Watch this, because if in that scenario I provide evidence showing that fairies do exist and you still contend that they don't, then you can repeat the experiment that I showed validating fairies and you can show that it invalidates it. That's how you do it. You do it where you invalidate the fairy and you invalidate my experiment all at the same time. That's how you do it.
Yeah, Einstein.
No.
So you will not do the experiment, basically. You do not dare.
Hold on. He just agreed that if I provide evidence that fairies exist and he still contends that they don't, he just said yes, that you would have to repeat the experiment and validate fairies exist as well as invalidating the experiment. That's exactly what he's doing for this experiment in which I provided evidence that mass attracts mass. He still denies it. So now it's his responsibility to repeat the experiment and not only show that mass doesn't attract mass, but that the experiment is invalidated. Chemo just agreed to that principle and logic. Let's see his backtrack.
I've just said yes. I've just said you're saying this is a fairy. You're saying, look, here is a fairy. I'm saying no. Here is Einstein. Here's the bending of space-time. This is what this is.
No. That's not repeating the experiment and invalidating the experiment. That's not at all. You're providing another theory. So now you're saying, no, look, Bigfoot. So not fairies, but Bigfoot. You're still not doing anything to address the experiment. You're still not addressing anything about the evidence for it.
Yeah, because I'm giving you a mathematical equation that debunks what you think you've done.
You want the mathematical equation where it breaks down to Newton's equations?
No, I'm giving you Einstein's equation.
I know. We can use Einstein's equations and get to Newton. Do you want to do that? Because you know that we can. You know we've got time, and you know we're autistic enough to do it. Do you want us to do it, Timo?
Yeah, go for it.
So when that happens, where do you go to? Because I'm going to find it right now. You know I will. But where do you go to then? Because your response to the experiment and not having to do it was Einstein. So when I show that Einstein could get to Newton, where do you go?
Well, let's have a look if you can. Let's see it. Take your time.
I love it. I love this.
Yeah, it won't take all that long.
But as we proceed, the current science, the modern science is what we're going to work with. Then, if we've got the modern equations, bunk kind of mass attracted.
But they don't.
They don't. None of them. Yeah.
We're going to find out from Bio here.
Equation.
Well, why don't you post the equation that debunks it, Chemo?
I'm going to show Bio how to.
Why don't you post the equation that debunks it, Chemo?
Einstein's equation can be found right next to his Dowsing equation.
Yeah, show the equation that debunks it. Show the debunking.
Oh, no, we're going to have to look at this equation first.
Here's a small explanation of deriving Newton from Einstein, as well as Jay is going to post his personal experience of deriving it as well. This is a common method within physics, and undergraduate students have to at least know how to do it, if not, by memory. They just know how to do it. But yeah, they exist within each other, essentially. They are one and the same. Just one is highly detailed, and the other one is just basic caveman bullshit.
I'm reading it. I'm just reading it.
Biodil, why were your results so shitty?
Oh yeah, no
one's accepting them, man. No one's accepting your results.
No,
in
scientifically,
Newtonians, it says there was a force.
Hmm.
Yeah, no flat earthers accept the result. That's a shock and amaze right there.
Surprise, surprise. They don't even accept their own results. Thank you, Bob Nodell.
What is this force that it speaks of?
Yeah, I know. Of all that we just talked about between deriving Newton from Einstein, of all of that discussion, what you go to is, what is this force? There you go,
You have
Kimo.
to say it
But
like
as far as
say Einstein, otherwase he doesn't understand.
true,
Yeah, but I'm asking you, what is that force?
Yeah, I don't care, Kimo. It's rudimentary.
Maybe you should go to school and figure out what the force is.
How are you deriving a force from Einsteinian gravity?
Yeah, there you go. That's exactly what we were talking about.
How? Why? Do you have any answers? Nothing.
Insert the sea lion.
Right, it says Einstein. I mean, your own citation here says Einstein. Are you listening, Bio?
Like he's looking, he's trying to find something somewhere.
He's reading.
Let him carry on because he's throwing up the wrong term.
And he's reading it at about a 6th grade level.
Are you listening, Bio? Are you ready? This is your citation.
Hey, Kimo, how does modern science debunk this?
And you wonder why we are the leaders of the new school. Okay, so thus we will generalize to, in other words, Einstein replaced the mysterious force by purely geometric quantity. So, put it another way, gravity is nothing but a distortion of the local geometric space-time.
If you want to get down to brass tacks, you can't have. Hold on, Kimo. If you want to get down to brass tacks, you can't have bending. Kimo, get the dick out of your mouth. Get the dick out of your ear.
Boy.
Open them up.
You said you can derive a force from
Stop interrupting so much. Listen to yourself.
All hell breaks loose now because Kimo was once again right.
No, because you're interrupting. Hold on, Kimo.
Devastating, isn't it?
If you want
you're not right here.
Kimo, if you want to break it down to the most basic fucking way possible, you can't have bending of space-time without mass. And the mass has to manipulate.
Stop interrupting, Kimo.
Fuck on, Kimo. God damn, man. I thought you were an adult. Relax. So you have to have a mass bending space-time for all of these effects to exist. All that was being explained with Newton is that this mass must exist. It didn't have an interaction in any other way. Einstein came along and said it's incomplete at just mass. He's going to explain it further, but it does nothing to negate the effect. It does nothing to negate the interaction and relationship of mass. All he did is took it a step further, such as when you're on a trampoline and someone introduces the bowling ball. If you never mention the trampoline, it is totally fine to say, when the bowling ball is introduced around me, I'm going to be leaning towards that bowling ball. Einstein said, wait, there's a trampoline that the bowling ball is affecting. That's it. It's all the same. It's all similar. One is just a better explanation.
I don't understand any of that explanation.
Your own citation there. Okay.
Hang on a second, Kimo. You're making it. Shut up, Kimo. You're making it very complicated. The phenomena here is just mass attracting mass. The mechanism behind it doesn't matter, right? So this crap that Kimo is about to say now is completely mute.
I'm only reading your citation there, Bio.
It doesn't debunk anything, Kimo. Does it?
You can read. That's amazing. One of Einstein's field equations, then you may have an argument. You can't.
You need to have them tattooed on your body somewhere, actually, Kimo.
You didn't even read your own citation, Bio.
But it doesn't matter, Kimo.
Hardcore enough.
The mechanism behind it doesn't matter. It's mass attracting mass.
Not according to this citation.
No, the phenomena is mass attracting mass, and that is all that matters.
Not according to this citation. It says Einstein replaced a mysterious force
are demonstrating mass attracting mass. The mechanism behind it doesn't matter, Kimo. This is a complete and total red herring, and shows that you don't know anything about what you're talking about. You're not debunking mass attracting mass, are you?
Look, gravity is nothing but a distortion.
You don't know what you're talking about, Kimo. You still don't know what you're talking about. You're still barking up the wrong tree.
Help him, won't you?
Bonking a phenomenon, are you?
He's
delirious. This is why you guys need therapy. How painful is this?
Well, how brain dead are you, Kimo?
Did you think flat earthers can't read, or I wouldn't read it, or something?
You definitely can't.
You think he's not going to read that part?
You asked for it, and you got it. You asked for that, how to change from one unit to another. You got it. Now what?
Yeah, it tells us that gravity is nothing but a distortion of a local geometry in space-time. Duh.
Yeah. So,
no mass attracting mass, space-time.
Right, you don't know anything. Yeah, got it. You don't understand anything.
Oh, I don't understand space-time.
Correct. I confirm that Chemo does not know how to read.
Space-time means mass attracting mass.
If he wants to prove otherwise, he can go to Google, type in "what's the shape of the Earth," and I guarantee you, he won't read what the result is.
I didn't Google this. This is BioJules citation.
Which is totally fine. It has nothing to do with. It has nothing to do with debunking mass attracting mass, and you know that.
It doesn't talk about mass attracting mass. It talks about
the equations, right?
Well, that's such a red herring, Chemo, isn't it?
Right.
Where's mass attracting mass in this citation? It talks about space-time.
You didn't ask for mass attracting mass.
You didn't ask for that.
Yeah, Newton's laws. Where's that mass attracting mass from Einstein?
You said specifically that known science debunks mass attracting mass, and when asked to prove that, we gave you some citations for Einstein versus Newtonian, and you said, "What the force?" Like every other.
Whoa! Is this a different conversation now? Is it versus?
You're just playing word games.
Excuse me, I'm talking still. Now, how can you say that known science debunks our understanding of mass attracting mass when you don't even accept what a force is? Because forces are understood in Einsteinian and Newtonian physics.
Yes, force equals ma. You could do some of the math. Maybe you would understand what's behind these different laws.
Look, I don't want to stress you out too much.
That's the remiss intent on arguing the way Chemo is. What Jay actually shows is a reduction from the Einstein's field equations to Newton's equations in the Newtonian limit. That's what Jay has shown. So he's being able to show that for the masses we're looking at, they are equivalent. So if the room wants to argue that, then they can keep on doing it. In which case, it's fine to use the reduction to Newtonian and to treat it as a force. In any sense of the word that Chemo wishes to use it, even in his perverse sense when he's talking about the mechanism rather than the phenomena of mass attracting mass.
So just to click, did I lie about anything here? Any lies?
No, Chemo, you just don't understand anything you're talking about ever.
What he posted. Have I lied about anything here? Just to be clear,
you don't understand what is behind all those rules. That's what I'm trying to say.
Any lies here? All I've said was what the paper said. But does the paper talk about space-time or mass attracting mass?
No, that's not what the purpose was. You asked about deriving Newton from Einstein. That's what you asked for. What was provided is exactly that. You've yet to address it. So the question you asked has been answered, and you're ignoring that. So yes, in a very particular way, you are lying because you're not addressing exactly what you asked for.
It's more getting the Einsteinian from Newton, not the other way around. Not Newton.
Here, hold on. And before everyone goes crazy, the beautiful thing about math is that you could do it in one direction, and then you could do it in the other direction. It works both ways. That's why we have adding and subtracting. That's why we have multiplying and dividing. Math works in both ways.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, one is still a force and one is not. That's the most important.
No, do you understand this, Chemo? That if you're shown Newton to Einstein, if you read from top to bottom in that way, if you read from bottom to top, you get Einstein to Newton. Do you understand this basic fucking principle?
No, you don't get that. One is a force, one is not.
Yes, there you do, and the mathematics proves it.
Einstein has no
force. It's got nothing to do with force. It's got nothing to do with force.
With space-time.
Why do you bring force? Can you answer his question about math?
Force is from Newtonian.
Not about force. It's a question about math. Did you understand the question? Can you answer it?
What about it?
Can you answer it?
Oh, that's fucking stupid.
What was the question?
Do you understand the concept that you can read it both ways?
He barely dressed himself. Why are you asking him these questions? Put him right as an old man.
It's crazy.
There's so many people. There's so many people
the most
coming
basic.
at him.
Chemo,
the most basic way, Chemo. The most basic way, understanding math. If you go from Newton to Einstein, can you then go from Einstein to Newton backwards? Every step that you did, let's say it's 1 through 10, step by step. Could you then go 10 to 1 backwards? Could you do that?
No, they are polar opposite.
And there it is. You're retarded. You're retarded.
They're not. They're
One
linked
is the
together,
force,
and they're linked
one is the
together
bending
mainly
of
by the math
space-time.
behind it.
No, it's a completely different concept.
Yes, that's a fact.
Jay provided a source of him doing it. Have you opened that one yet? I'll repost it right now. I also tagged you in it twice, but this will be the third time.
I've got
Ready?
your source.
Hey, Chemo, wasn't there a physicist that was actually on a show that talked about the breaking of the wand of Newton or something like that, where he was explaining that they're not the same?
Yeah, possibly. But as it stands right now, is that Newton deals with forces mechanically pulling towards the center of the mass. With Einstein, we've got the bending of the space-time, giving us different equations because Newton's equations can't explain three-body problems, the galaxies, the universe, how the orbits work, how
You don't even know the beginning of Newton's equations.
no,
You don't
Newton
know what
can't
you're
explain the
talking
cosmos, any of that stuff. So Einstein comes in.
about. You hear the words coming out of my mouth?
I do, Hannah, but I'm explaining to
Yes,
you
but you
Newton.
don't understand it. Go take physics classes without any math, and you'll see what I'm talking about.
It's been replaced because Newton can't explain the universe, the cosmos.
No, it wasn't replaced.
God.
Okay, there's no
Who's been
need for
replaced?
Newtonian
Newton.
gravity.
Are you saying Einstein can explain the universe?
Oh wow, yes, that's why he won the Nobel Prize here. His equations fitted just about every question answered about how the mechanics of the universe works. And of course, yes, you may have black holes, which requires a different set of mathematics, but so far Einstein blew up Newton out the water because Newton's gravity couldn't explain, like I said, the galaxy and how things.
So you're happy with the existence of galaxies, black holes, planets? You're happy with the existence of all of those things?
If I'm working with a globe earther, we have to get you on the side of Einstein. Not about me, it's about globe earthers.
Well, do you believe that Einstein is accurate on these things? Because it sounds like you're saying you do. And that's your reason for going with Einstein as opposed to Newton.
What I'm explaining that Newton doesn't explain all of these things.
Right, so you're saying that Einstein does. He successfully explains all of these things which earlier today you didn't even accept the existence of, as far as I understood it.
Yeah, that doesn't matter. The point is to get used to understand your own current modern science.
So there are galaxies? So are there galaxies outside of this Earth?
No, of course not. But the idea...
So what's the point of saying that Einstein was right about describing it if you don't agree with that? So why are you even bringing that up? So
You're
as
choosing
far as you're
one.
concerned...
Your reason for choosing one over the other is one was wrong and the other was right. But now you're saying they're both wrong.
Yeah, but one is more right, but they're both wrong?
It doesn't matter about that. The idea is how you understand
yes,
gravity.
It doesn't
matter about that.
Newton was wrong in your paradigm. He's trying to.
Everybody's wrong, dude. Everybody's
point
slightly
that
wrong.
out to you guys.
Everybody is slightly wrong. That's the whole point of science. Is we figure out where they're wrong, we improve, we iterate.
So we're all clear that Newton cannot explain the universe, the cosmos, and all of these other things. You understand that, right?
No one person can.
Yeah.
But you get it that Einstein has a better explanation of the galaxies, the cosmos, the planets, the orbit.
You're making so many confusion.
Oh God, you're just
We think that, but do you think that?
No, you don't think that. You keep on saying, well, not so you necessarily, but people here are saying that Newton's gravity is the same as Einstein, and it can't be when Newton doesn't.
There is an equivalence there.
Newton cannot explain the galaxies or the universe. So how can it be the same?
But you're right. You're right in saying that Einstein's. You're right in saying that Einstein is a more broad and thus a slightly more useful explanation. We can use it to explain more things, but where they overlap, the things they explain the same, they both explain them exactly the same. You can derive one from the other and vice versa.
No, because if
they
you're
overlap, they overlap. And they overlap on things like gravity on scale of Earth.
No.
Yeah,
because if you were on a distant,
yes.
If you were on a distant planet somewhere or a different galaxy,
no, we're talking about Earth.
Looking back at the Earth, Newton's gravity wouldn't apply. You'd still be looking at Einsteinian gravity.
Wow. You really don't know. You really don't understand it.
Of course we understand it.
How come you say...
I've seen Brian Cox live. He's explained it perfectly. How the galaxies work and how Newton's doesn't explain all of this. Right?
Okay, so he did not say that.
Yes, he did.
No, he did not.
Yes, he did. He spoke about how it's not.
He did not say Newton doesn't work.
Yeah, he says Einstein. Yes, he does. He says Einstein. He says gravity's not a force.
Oh gosh, it acts like one, and that's what Newton's.
All of these physicists say gravity's not a force because they know that the bending of space-time is how these things operate.
But if you want to be real, explain to me why in every modern text you're going to find the listing of 4 fundamental forces of which gravitation is going to be one.
I've been to a huge conference seen a huge screen where all the galaxies are explained in great detail, and Newton cannot explain any of this.
Was that a
flash? How do you reconcile the fact that
this was a Globe Earth conference with Brian Cox. Okay.
That was definitely not said at that event.
I've seen live experts.
He's completely making it up.
I'm saying what he was a liar. No, I'm saying no. He didn't say that there, but I'm saying he was talking about the galaxies, and I've got a quote of him saying that gravity's not a force.
Kima, how do you reconcile the fact that every modern textbook will tell you that the 4 fundamental forces include gravitation?
Sorry, I'm just thinking about the conference. Go on, say it again.
That's okay, but how do you reconcile that?
About what?
That every modern textbook will tell you there's 4 fundamental forces in the universe, of which one is gravitation.
Yeah, that's the bend in the space-time.
Yeah, so if they tell you it's a fundamental force, why are you saying it's not a force?
No, that's...
how do you reconcile the fact that every modern textbook will tell you
that? That's for children, all right?
Every modern textbook.
Yeah, that's for children. The more advanced version of this, understanding it's not a force.
I don't know. How do you define children?
I don't know what you're preaching.
Modern textbooks. I'm talking about PhD students.
No, none of them say it's a force. Not one.
They all do. Every single one.
Not one. None of
Everyone will list you 4 fundamental forces of the universe, including gravitation, as one.
How much would I bet that none of them say it's a force? £1,000.
I'm glad what I just said is true.
None of these astrophysicists say gravity is a force.
But they're still using it, right? They're still using it in their equation as it's there, right? They're still using it. And we're still using applications that
you cannot show one astrophysicist that says gravity is a force.
Wait, I don't care if they call it a force.
Okay, that's easy to do. Talking. Can you give me $1,000 if I do it? Yeah.
What, in a conference? Yeah.
No,
a citation of like some size science book. I want to see them teaching.
How about published? How about published?
No. Saying
very quickly, aren't they?
They've got to be able to say it so we can see them teaching. Yes, this is a force. This is the force of gravity.
Is revolving.
That's fine. So an astrophysicist is saying that it's a force, huh?
What?
An astrophysicist is saying it's a force.
Yeah, let's have a look then.
And let me ask you a question. If they say there are 4 fundamental forces in the universe, gravitation is one, does that count?
If they say what?
There are 4 fundamental forces in the universe, of which and gravity is one of those 4 fundamental forces.
I want them talking about gravity as a force, like how you're describing it.
And isn't that what I just said? If there are 4 fundamental forces in the universe, and gravity is one of the 4 fundamental forces.
No. I don't want them talking about 4 fundamental forces. Talking about gravity, just gravity being a force. Just gravity.
If they say gravity is a fundamental force of the universe, is that good enough?
No. I want them talking about how gravity is a force.
Yes, if they say gravity is a fundamental force in the universe.
No, just a force.
Yes.
Why not?
Yes, it is a force. It's one of the 4 fundamental forces. So
no, I don't want that vernacular. I don't want that vernacular. I want gravity is a force or it's not a force.
No one cares about what you want.
They just dropped the word
this is what it
fundamental.
is.
With that.
So if it's got the word fundamental, it doesn't count. That totally changes the meaning.
Yeah, I don't want this vernacular. Do normally where we say gravity is not a force, or it is not a force. It is a force, or it's not a force. Simple as that.
And I get $1,000 if I find it, right?
He wants it Riley-fied. It's Riley-fied.
You refuse to learn a darn thing. Not even the basics.
Okay, so
not even square one.
Wait, guys, wait. So, Kimo,
we have a deal, right,
is gravity a force or not?
Sorry?
Gravity is a force or not?
Gravity is not a force.
So what is it there? Does it exist?
Gravity is the bending of space-time.
So it exists. It's something that is real. You can see there's gravity.
Is explained by the bending of space-time.
It's not what I asked you. I asked you if it's real. Do you believe in gravity?
That's a different question.
When you hold the pen and you drop it, what dropped it? Gravity or something else?
Yeah, not a force. It wasn't a force, or your pen didn't accelerate.
Right. So you're saying it's. That's what I'm asking you. What is accelerating that pen? Is it
no
gravity or something else?
There was no acceleration.
So, Kimo, are you saying that Einstein versus Newton, there's two different types of mechanics, how they describe the mechanics of it?
Completely two different.
Okay, so which one is real? Which one is real?
Big picture here, end of the day, you guys need to learn that what Kimo is arguing is that Einstein explained water sticking to a spinning ball. Why are you looking past that? Commend Kimo for accepting this.
Yeah, good job, Kimo.
Yeah, so get Veach to concede that it's not a force.
Well, it's working, right? I'm just gonna look if I can see if I can find $1,000 for it.
Can't move forward unless that wasn't the bet. We didn't bet.
It was. I thought you said if I get that,
£1,000 of air.
I thought you said you were gonna give me $1,000.
I didn't say dollars. No.
See, on the playground, if somebody played by these rules, they'd get his ass kicked.
He would. You're right.
I nearly did as well in reality as well. So you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, you're welching there. You're welching, Kimo.
Well, he's struggling still anyway. He can't find a conference where they're saying, yes, it's a force, this is what it does, it's mechanical, pulling to the center of the earth.
No, you said that to be teaching a class.
Yeah, I want to see like a Neil deGrasse conferencing saying this is a force.
Videos that Feynman has put out, Kimo.
I want to see some non-name scientists.
How about Feynman? How about if I can find Feynman saying it while teaching at Columbia?
What I don't get is there's all sorts of forces that we call forces, and they are true to being the definition of a force, like a Coriolis force, right? Or the centripetal force, right? Those are all forces that emerge out of other underlying processes, but they're still forces by the definition.
Indeed.
Yeah, but what we're looking for is
a fundamental force, maybe? You mean like the ones that we just described to you?
Newtonian is a mechanical pulling pressure force. We've got applied pressure, and Newton, there's no applied pressure. There is just the bending of the space fabric.
All right. What about centripetal force, Kimo? Is centripetal force a force?
Look, we're looking at the forces between.
Can you answer my question?
Yeah, but we're derailing slightly here.
No, I'm not. This is a point I'm trying to make. Is centripetal force a force?
It's a pseudo force.
Does it fit the definition of force?
It's a pseudo force.
Okay, so you're looking for a fundamental force then?
It's not a mechanical force, is it?
Are you looking for a fundamental force then, as opposed to a pseudo force?
Well, I mean, again, when you say fundamental, I mean, again, you're implying that gravity is a pulling force.
Oh, that's not.
Magnetism doesn't meet a standard.
So when you say fundamental, are you saying that it's a mechanical force then?
Oh.
Kimo denies magnetism.
So Dan, the thing is, you want to get into the four fundamental forces. All apply pressure of some kind. Yes or no?
No.
Which one doesn't?
Electromagnetism.
Electromagnetism doesn't apply pressure. What are you talking about?
There's an attraction force.
And still pressure being applied.
No, it isn't. Also gravity.
Oh, there you go. So only gravity. Okay, you see, Dan, that's why.
There's four fundamental forces. There's gravity, electromagnetic, and then nuclear.
No. All those are, Dan, you know they're all applied pressures, right? Apart from gravity.
How is magnetism applied pressure?
Look. You let Dan answer this.
Force.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead, Dan.
Okay, my answer is no.
What? So they're all. Which one is applied pressure and which one is not?
The magnetism is not applied, just like everybody else just said.
So there's no pressure when it comes to. So explain me the mechanism then. What's going on there? How is it not applied? How are they moving?
I don't know how magnetism works.
So how do you know if it's applied pressure or not then?
Good point.
That's just what I understand it to be.
That's what you believe it to be.
How do you understand it if you don't know how it works?
Well, because it's an attraction force.
Okay, so that's an applied pressure, Dan, right? So you've only got gravity now. Is that an applied pressure?
Well, but if things are attracted, how would they be pressure?
Attraction is an applied force, pulling.
It's pulling,
in physics, that's the definition of gravity, pulling.
And same with magnetism.
No, we don't know that. How do they? What's the mechanics of that? I just asked you.
Have you seen a magnet?
I've just said what is the mechanics of it. I haven't claimed to know it. You are.
Yeah, we don't know the mechanics of gravity or magnetism really. I mean, they probably do know some, but I don't.
Do you know the mechanics
of
gravity?
Attraction.
No, it's not attraction. It's the bending of space-time.
Magnetism is the beginning of bending of space-time.
You get your science mixed up.
Are you actually using like Einstein that bending space-time as some sort of argument against what we're saying that gravity exists?
He does this all the time. He cites
that is
our scientists against us, even though he doesn't believe our scientists. He'll take some things that he wants to believe and other things he doesn't.
It's a twist.
It's like Einstein said this, and that's why that's why gravity is not there. Are you listening to yourself?
Because we've got to be clear on science, right, and not just make stuff up. But so the modern.
Well, we know you don't know anything about it, so that's fine.
The current science is the bending of space-time.
I don't understand.
Do we all agree with that?
Negative.
Curved agrees already. He's happy. That keeps water to the ball. Waiting for Veach to concede. Dan, I think you're happy with that.
Both those paradigms are valid.
I think you're happy, Danny, with this bending of space-time, or do you think it's a pulling force?
My point that I was trying to make is that whether the force derives from something else doesn't change the fact that it definitionally is a force.
Yeah, don't make things up, Dan.
No, that's
correct.
definition.
What he just said. He's absolutely correct.
No, you're making things up. That's when
you say derive. That's why we get things like centripetal force.
Try to listen. Right? When you say derive, you're talking mathematically. Yeah.
What's the difference in the result, Kima?
The difference is
we have oceans sticking to the Earth due to the bending of space-time, as you like to say.
Yeah. So we agree. Does everyone agree with Curve?
It is. So you have no argument against the globe here. So what are you trying to do?
There is an argument because your friends disagree with you.
No,
what you mean by disagree.
Curve says it's because of the bending of space-time.
What Curve is saying is true. It's true. You can describe it that way. Absolutely, you can.
So we all agree now. Gravity is not a force.
No, gravity's also a force.
I disagree with that. What? I've always told you gravity is a force. What is
almost there, guys?
You have acceleration. You have a force.
Robin Williams is a comedic actor, and Robin Williams is not a comedic actor.
Almost there, Jeremy. You heard that right? They were close. See.
What happens if someone tells you you're right? Gravity is not labeled as force. Now what?
You agree with that now? Yeah.
No, I'm asking you if someone tells you gravity.
All the people with PhDs, they're going right against them.
That's not true though.
Half of them say it's not a force.
Say exactly what we're saying.
We're getting there. It's just
if you have someone, if you have someone that tells you, I agree. You cannot use the label force to gravity. You are correct. Gravity is not a force in quotation.
Right, tell Veach this. Tell Veach.
Now what? Does it actually still happen?
Do you agree, Veach?
He's offering you a hypothetical. He's not saying you're right. He's saying if this hypothetical was to be given, he's interested to find out what you want to do with it because he doesn't really see where you're going.
If we all pray to the Most High, we'll have a wonderful paradise world.
Shut the fuck up when other people are talking, you cunt.
He's saying if. Do you agree gravity is a force or not in the real world? No hypothetical.
So
that's wow. How about you answer the questions instead of offering, I don't know, other stupid things?
Because we're talking about science.
Well, why don't you answer his question? He's got a question for you. He's trying to understand
every single science starts from a hypothesis that could be crazy. And I'm asking you, let's say someone tells you you're right. The label force is incorrect to gravity.
I don't know.
Gravity is not a force. Now what?
I don't know. I don't know
your
until
answer
I
would
get
be?
there. I don't know until I get there.
He was still talking when you
It's very
interrupted
useless.
again.
You're like, this is how you talk to people?
I don't
how do you
know.
even
I can't see
advance
the
in
future,
conversation
can
with
I?
anyone? How do
You
you
do
advance in
know.
conversation with
You do
anyone?
know because you work from that premise.
I might know.
That people
but we'll
have
get there
said
first.
that people have said gravity is not a force, and as a result, you pretend that by that they mean there is no such thing as gravity at all. It doesn't exist in any way. There is no force. There's nothing that things are not falling down because of anything. That is the answer that you need to give him.
Is that what it is? Yeah? You agree with Jem? Everyone agrees with Jem? Now Jem agrees.
Does everyone agree with me that is what chemo does currently?
I'm saying that's what we want.
Chemo's asking you all if you
agree.
agree with me on this. That this is how chemo behaves.
Yes.
I'm part
Exactly.
of this.
Oh my
I
god.
agree 100%.
We're all in agreement on this, chemo.
You just said that perfectly, though.
You take this idea that when people say gravity is not a force, you take that to mean that the thing itself does not exist in any way, don't you?
Right, so that's what I'm trying to say. Do you all agree with that?
So that's the answer.
So there's no force, no acceleration, things are not falling because of a force.
Nobody agrees with that. Nobody agrees with that apart from you.
No, I'm saying...
Yes.
Hold on.
Oh, and Anthony Riley.
No, look.
Have you ever bothered to look up
trying
gravity
to get
in the Oxford Dictionary?
if that's what's going on. If there's an acceleration, a force, is that true, or is it the bending of space-time?
Does it matter? Because when
on.
we say it's not the word force, just like he said before, you take it as, oh, then it doesn't exist. Correct? You actually think that when we say it's not a force, in quotations, it means that we say it's not there.
Right.
Do you understand that's not
That's what I want
the
you
case?
to say, yes. I want you to concede that gravity is not a force. I haven't hidden this. This isn't a trick question. This isn't going around the bush.
You're literally
concede that gravity is not a mechanical force. That's it.
This is a language issue, not a physics
No, it's not. I'm being
issue.
clear as rain. How Jem said it, I thought that's what he was saying. He did it perfectly.
He doesn't understand the physics.
That's what
We
can see
are
that all of that
clear.
doesn't exist. It's the bending of space-time, not a force, not an acceleration. None of that.
Hey,
It is an
chemo.
acceleration.
What do you
Have
mean?
you ever
We
looked
can
at-
calculate that. We can calculate and measure that acceleration. What the hell are you talking about?
Perfectly put, Jen. That's what I thought
you
you
guys
were
keep talking-
saying.
The acceleration, chemo.
And you were
You
like,
guys
that's
keep
what you
talking
want us
math
to
and
say.
science.
Yes, that's what I want you to say. Yes, that. How it's nothing. It's not a force. Doesn't cause acceleration. That's not the current science.
Please tell his line, otherwise you can't talk.
Chemo.
Yes.
You don't like math and science. Cool. You like the Oxford Dictionary, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, sure.
So what is why don't we look up gravity in the Oxford Dictionary?
Hey, Kilo, as a scientist,
I will
scientist
go
or
ahead and
physicist- Go ahead.
I'll go. Sorry, my bad. Just give me 30 seconds here.
Yeah, go ahead.
I will go ahead and post the definition there for you, but I'll read it out.
Yeah.
A force that attracts objects in space towards each other.
Is that in physics, though?
That's according to the Oxford Standard Dictionary, which I was told yesterday is the only dictionary we're allowed to use.
Yeah, but is that
And
in
if
physics?
if it doesn't fit the definition in Oxford, it's wrong. So your definition is wrong.
Say it again. The
by
definition.
yours.
Also, Chemo, in the meantime, I found a quote for you that is relevant. I'm just going to throw in real quick, which is from Richard Feynman. This is in his textbook that he wrote. What is the law of gravitation? It's the law that every object in the universe attracts every other object with a force. And that force is proportional to two bodies' mass and varies inversely in the square of the distance between them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and?
Sounds to me like he's saying it's a force.
No. He's not saying that in one of his conference lectures.
I mean,
so you
right,
want to see a conference? So this is it. You just need to go to a conference and to hear a physicist saying that gravity is a force. That's what this is all about.
They don't teach that anymore.
How stupid that is.
They don't teach that anymore.
According to Oxford Dictionary, they do.
Is a modern physicist. What are you talking about?
But he doesn't teach that anymore.
Yes, they do.
He's probably talking about the old way of thinking.
By the way,
you're probably taking that out of context.
The only people in here that have actually taken modern physics, that have actually know what was taught, are us. You never took a class. So how are you going to tell us what you get taught in Physics 101?
You have no idea what I know. It's all about me. But the point is, you can't
so
show...
when was the last time you were in a physics class? When was your last time in physics class?
The idea is that you can't show mass attracted mass.
When was that? When was the last time you were sitting in a class and studying physics?
It's not about me.
Optics or whatever.
4 or 5 decades.
It's not about me.
Well, the problem with you, Kimo, is that you're confusing language with physics of what we mean by the words and what it actually means in reality. You think that the word force means something. That's the problem.
Let's look at the experiments that prove mass attracting mass in a vacuum. So far, we don't have any evidence to support that. That's because mass doesn't attract mass. Therefore, Einstein's space-time idea is the modern current idea that we have to work with. We have to work from that paradigm.
Wait,
not
so why are we working with Einstein stuff? Why is that? Why are you allowing? How come you allowing car companies, for example, to do all sorts of calculation about engine and intake and speed and collision? Why are you even allowing them to use those equations?
Laws of motion still stand. I'm not saying that. It doesn't explain gravity, though.
Because what he's doing,
it's
what Newton talks about forces. Yes. Listen, listen. Newton talks about forces, right?
Forces. Let's talk over me.
Newton describes forces, real forces. Gravity is not a real force, so Newton is not needed for this explanation. Is that clear?
Can I call gravity blue? Can I call that? It's a blue, not a force. Can I say that?
Look, when things fall, it's not because of a force. There is no acceleration. The acceleration is an apparent acceleration from a pseudo
Are you telling me when
source.
You drop a pen from your hand, the speed that it starts and the speed that it hits the ground is the same one?
It's not a real acceleration.
So there is acceleration, right?
No, there's no actual acceleration.
Whatever, man. Whatever, man. Go denial.
You need a force, remember, to create acceleration.
Correct. And
so if Einstein is replacing the force,
Kimo, is there acceleration when
no,
I drop a pen?
There's an apparent acceleration.
We can measure it, you idiot. You can do that.
Yeah,
Take a camera,
you measure an apparent acceleration.
And drop your kid and check the acceleration.
Yes, it will be an apparent, not an actual acceleration.
Now,
holy shit!
Invited. Wasn't there an actual physicist that was invited on the Fight the Flat Earth show that said that that Newton's description of gravity was pretty much superseded by Einstein?
Yes, of course. That's what we're discussing right now. We're trying to explain to these guys, or I'm trying to explain at least, is that when he drops his pen and he thinks, oh, acceleration, that's the old paradigm. They used to think...
No, Kimo, stop it. I asked if there is an acceleration.
No.
When I drop the pen...
Zero acceleration.
Listen to what I'm saying. When I release the grip from my pen, the speed that it's dropping is the exact same speed the whole time?
Depends on the medium.
Nice dodge. Basically, there is an acceleration, right?
No acceleration.
You're an idiot. What can I say? I don't know what...
I thought you said it depended on the medium.
Yeah, so there is an acceleration. It depends on the medium, right?
Well, if you've got a medium that can create pressure...
Great, perfect. So when I drop a metal ball in a pool, it drops slower than in the medium of the air, right? Is the acceleration different?
No, there is no... Well, in the pool, okay, you've got the walls of the container, so you've got a force there.
Is the acceleration different?
You see?
When the ball that I'm dropping in the air starts from 0, right? He's not moving. I'm letting it go. And then you're saying it goes immediately to max speed, no acceleration. And that happens the same in the water, correct? You're saying there is no acceleration. The second I release the grip, the ball moves at the same speed the whole time. No acceleration, right?
There's kind of two arguments. I mean, if we're in a container, then that's what's causing if you want acceleration to be.
It's not what we want, it's what it is. And I'm asking you, when you drop the ball, you just let the ball go. Are you telling me that the speed of the ball
is the
same the whole time?
You're not letting me answer. I mean, again, you've got the options, yes? If you're in a container, it depends on the walls, right? If you've got Einsteinian, then it's not accelerating. And if you want to go with Newtonian, then yeah, you can say it's being pulled towards the center of the Earth. You have your
pulled
choice.
By what? So there's an acceleration?
I've just said if you want to say that it's being pulled mechanically, then there's acceleration.
I'm asking what you're saying. I'm asking you, Chemo, you as a person, you yourself, letting the ball go. Is there an acceleration?
What, on a flat Earth are you asking now?
Can you answer the question?
I don't care about. Are you talking about Einstein?
Who cares about what I'm talking about, if it's Einstein or Newton? I'm asking you, in reality, you in the street, holding your phone, letting the phone go, is it dropping at the same speed the whole time?
Well, speed means that you've got an acceleration, yeah?
Well, yeah.
Chemo, I'm asking you.
No, because you're being very tricky here with your words.
I
don't want you to say, oh, you see,
the phone dropping at the same speed?
Speed. Define speed. What do you mean by speed?
You can't. You can't answer anything. You are terrified of your own answer.
Which paradigm are we talking in? Are we talking in Newtonian paradigm? Are we talking Einsteinian paradigm? Are we talking flat Earth paradigm? Which paradigm?
Stop being so dishonest. Just answer his question.
You've said it depends on what paradigm you're looking at, Veach. Remember?
Not with speed. It doesn't.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Then consider a flat Earth paradigm. Is the pen accelerating, or is it moving at a constant speed? Do you understand that question?
What exactly? Is it flat Earth, Einstein?
I already told you, flat Earth. Flat Earth. Let's consider the flat Earth as the context of this question. Is the pen dropped in a pool of water moving at a constant speed or at an accelerating speed?
It's moving at, depending on the medium, it would be a constant speed.
I said in water, fuckhead.
Yeah, so the medium, say in water, if it's, yeah, it would be a constant.
A constant speed?
That's wrong.
Wrong.
Yeah, it'll fall.
Jeez, it took that long for you to answer that simple question, and it was wrong at the end anyway.
Well, depending on.
Do you have enough? Are you honest enough with yourself to go fill your bathtub, take a metal penny?
No, waste your time.
Yeah, waste of time. He won't do that.
Yeah,
he
it depends on the.
Yeah, you are terrified. You are terrified of what you might find that is correct. So the question is, Chemo, is there acceleration?
Depending on which paradigm you're looking at.
Perfect. That's a great answer. Hey, Chemo, let's say we're on a flat Earth, and I drop a pin, and the flat Earth is this reality where we all live in. When I drop a pin, does it accelerate to the ground?
On a flat Earth, no, because there's no force.
Then you live in a delusional reality, because if you go to reality, which is right next to you, hold the pen and let it go, it does accelerate.
No, there's no.
Do you understand that?
There's no downward bias, no force to cause.
It's got nothing to do with downward bias. Listen
you need a force.
to the word.
You need a force.
The pen, listen to what I'm saying. Does the pen drop in a constant speed from the second you let it go?
How can it accelerate without a force?
Does it matter if you can measure it to be accelerating?
Are you saying? Are you becoming global? Are you listening to what you're saying?
Yeah. How can
I'm asking you? I'm not asking you how something can or cannot happen. I'm asking you about something that is happening. When you let the pen go, does the speed immediately constant, or is it accelerating to a constant speed?
It depends on the medium that it's in.
When you're on the street, on a flat earth, on the street,
there's no acceleration. Yes.
Does the ball is falling in the same speed the whole time?
There's no acceleration.
But what if you measure there to be acceleration?
Holy shit! You don't get it. You're like,
forget about the mechanics of how it's possible. Do you believe that if you measured it, if you filmed somebody dropping a ball and you measured the speed over time, that it would not be accelerating?
Yeah, no acceleration without a force.
Well, then you're just in straight up denial, Chemo. This is the most dumb thing, and I've heard many dumb things from you. This is the dumbest thing I've heard.
Well, you can't have an acceleration without a force.
No, it doesn't matter what the can you measure it. Who cares what the cause is? Can you at least measure the phenomenon of something accelerating as it's falling?
Well, you can't describe it as accelerating.
Yeah, sure. It has a clear, easy definition.
Out of a plane and see if it works.
You need a force for an acceleration.
Chemo, does its speed increase over time? That's the definition of acceleration. Forget forces. Does its speed accelerate over time?
No, it doesn't. No, and Baumgartner started to slow down as you come into the thicker and thicker atmosphere. We slow down in a thicker atmosphere.
We're talking about the first second of fall.
Jump out of a plane.
Mabbit, you're telling me that when something falls, it's always slowing down? How is that possible?
It depends on the medium. That's the point I'm explaining.
When you let go of something and it starts to fall, is it always slowing down, or does it speed up?
There would be more drag created.
So it slows down right away, huh?
End of story.
Yeah,
so if it slows down right away, then it doesn't fall at all. It just hangs there. Because it starts out going zero.
Slow down as
it goes up because it's slowing down from
atmosphere.
If it starts off at zero, that means it can't go anywhere.
Don't overtalk me, please.
Well, if it starts out with zero, that means it can't go anywhere.
Yeah, he heard you the 5th time.
I don't think he did.
As he comes into thicker and thicker atmosphere.
That still doesn't answer.
When you fall,
Thank you. Let's move on.
Do you speed up when you fall, though?
Let's put this to bed and move on.
Do you speed up?
It's very hard. It's very hard to put this to bed when we're asking Chemo the simplest question.
I've answered you no acceleration.
Answer. But you realize you can see it with your own eyes. If you go to a diving pool, if you go to a pool and ask your friend to hold something heavy in the water and drop it.
Heavy requires gravity.
What, like a piece of wood? Hold a piece of wood in water and see how fast it drops.
What is heavy? What do you mean by heavy?
I said heavy. I said
kilo of wood. Let's hold a kilo of wood in water and see how fast it drops. Shall we?
Wood is buoyant.
Or shall we not do that? Because it doesn't fucking work with your bullshit gravity.
The question is not. The question is not.
Let's hold a rock in the air and drop it. What happens?
Yeah.
Or do you not want to answer that question because it does work?
What happens? What happens? It finds its relative density.
What happens, Babbitt?
So, Chemo, basically you're saying that if I drop a ball, it's always falling at the same constant speed. When I jump off a plane, when I did my skydiving, when I jumped off the plane, it was already at 200 kilometers falling down, correct?
Depend on the medium.
Yeah, air, skydiving. So when I jumped off the plane, you're saying that immediately, in less than a second, I was already moving in 200 kilometers per hour, correct?
No. You're slowing down. You're slowing down through the medium that you're in.
But if he's slowing down, he starts off at zero, Chemo. So he's not.
Yeah, I start with zero. I'm jumping off the plane.
Yeah, but you're in disequilibrium at that point.
My speed downward is zero when I start, when I just jumping off the plane, right?
Yeah,
then as I fall, what happens? Am I accelerating or I'm staying at the same speed?
You're not accelerating.
You are an idiot.
You're not accelerating.
You don't understand. Chemo does this backwards logic thing where he says, well, you can't be accelerating because there's no force to have you accelerate. Right. Therefore, it's not true.
I will jump out of a plane. See what happens.
But it's fundamentally dishonest, of course, because he knows that it is accelerating.
No,
that's what I'm saying. He doesn't accelerate.
You only slow down when you fall, and yet doesn't seem to have an answer to the fact that means that you would have to just be frozen in midair. It's just they're absurd. They have no interest in the truth.
He's terrified of answering the question sincerely. He's terrified of what he might find about this world.
Or he prides himself on his ability to never do that.
Well, I still want to dig deeper in this. If you dropped a Chemo thought experiment, you dropped a rock and we filmed it, and we filmed it in front of a backdrop that has like a measuring tape or whatever in the backdrop, and you measured its speed every frame, like how much distance it traveled every frame of the footage. Do you think that it would travel greater distances every frame, or would it travel the same distance every frame?
Well, again, I said it depends on the medium. It might
I gave you a hypothetical where all of those are known.
It might
it's just
travel
in
less.
a room.
It might slow down.
You think it would slow down? In that hypothetical that I just gave you of dropping a rock in a room with a measuring tape behind it, you think that you would? What is going to happen in the first frame? How far is it going to drop?
Again, it depends on the conditions and the medium, the temperature, and things like that.
Well, let's just take it one frame at a time. It drops some distance on frame 1. Do you think it's going to drop a greater distance or a lesser distance on frame 2?
It should drop lesser distance.
Lesser distance. Yeah. It's going to slow down.
Slow down, yeah.
Okay, and so if we show you tons of examples of this not happening, would that change your belief on this?
Quit lying and telling bullshit lies. It's all about terminal velocity. Depends on the weight of the goddamn object and the size, how far and fast. Balloons and goddamn and feathers all the same goddamn.
David, stop. David, stop.
No, he's making a good point here, David. Here.
He's not answering the question at all.
Yeah, we was.
Chemo, I got a question, Chemo. In that hypothetical with that rock and the measuring tape, when we let the rock go, you're saying it's moving a bit. Hey, car person, just shush. Car person. So I start at 0, right? At speed 0. I'm holding the rock in my hand. I'm letting it go, and then you're saying it needs to slow down. So it slows down from 0 speed to what exactly?
It depends, like I said.
But it doesn't depend because we're telling you the context in which this hypothetical is taking place. And so you saying it depends is just you dodging.
If everything's constant, yeah, you'll get a constant rate.
So so you're saying the second I'm letting the rock go, it already immediately starts to move in its terminal velocity, like the most fast that it can go, correct?
No, I just said. Unless it's in the same medium, yes.
The fastest it can go is when it's stopped.
I don't understand how you think it's the same speed the whole time.
You're trying to figure out if it's accelerated or not, right?
I'm trying to see if you accept that it's accelerating, because I drop things. You know how you can test that? Have you ever dropped your phone and you were fast enough to catch it?
Oh, let's say I agree with you. What's the force causing this acceleration?
There we go.
It's got nothing to do with it. It doesn't matter.
You have an acceleration without force.
Sure, I'm saying.
That's just nonsense.
That's not the question. The question is not the cause. We started with, is there acceleration? Doesn't matter what's causing it.
On the flat Earth or on the globe?
It doesn't matter. Do you agree?
On the flat Earth, there's no force. You're in a enclosed system. Any pressure comes from the container.
So on flat Earth, is there acceleration on a flat Earth when I drop the ball or the pen?
No, you're in an enclosed system, so that creates any movement, any forces.
Okay, so you claim that here in the world that you claim that is flat, you're saying that every time that we drop something, it's immediately at its terminal velocity. No acceleration.
It's in relative density.
Chemo, the problem with what you're saying is that it doesn't reflect reality. Like anybody can do this, and you can find hundreds of examples of this easily on YouTube. Probably
you can do it at home.
People measuring the accelerating pace of which an object falls. Whether you're on a flat Earth, or whether you think you're on a flat Earth, or whether you think you're on a globe Earth, it's an objective fact that things accelerate. And if you just say, oh, well, there's no force to cause that, so therefore I'm going to close my eyes and pretend that it doesn't happen, that is the weirdest, like, 2-year-old shit I've ever heard of.
Yeah, but we can experiment with this. We can take an egg, change the direction, cause it to move without a force. So we know it's because of relative density.
It's not true, though.
It's not true. How can you change something's direction without applying a force to it?
By the density, changing the density, the relative density.
Yeah, but that's the gravity force is acting on it.
What are you talking about?
We didn't do anything.
You're talking about
if you have an egg suspended in a salt solution, and you change the density, it'll
Riley
move.
is a scientist.
It's buoyancy, and of course, buoyancy is really just gravity.
But we're controlling for that in this hypothetical. We have a constant medium. It's not increasing density. This is over like a 3-foot fall or 6-foot fall or something like that, you know. So you just are inserting variables into this picture that don't exist.
No, but that's the point. Things will appear to fall because of the relative density.
What do you mean they appear to fall? Are they falling or not? What do you mean appear to fall?
No, there's no no doubt.
Chemo. This is boring when you do this. Is boring.
Seriously,
You're
Chemo, you should
lies.
really. I think, Chemo, what you should do really is basically grab anything that you have in front of you and drop it, and you will see that it's accelerating to the floor. It's so simple. So simple.
This is the most anti-intellectual.
It depends on the relative density of the objects.
But does it accelerate? Okay, it's got to do with parent whatever, but does it accelerate?
When I let go of a balloon, a helium balloon, it's not accelerating, is it?
It accelerates
it does.
up.
Of course it does.
How can it accelerate? What's the force?
It's accelerating up.
What's
and
the
force is gravity, because you don't understand how gravity does push something upward.
Hold on, gravity is I thought it was a pulling force.
I thought you didn't think it's a force. So what the fuck do you even care what type of force it is?
Because I'm asking you, is the balloon being pulled up or pushed up?
It's accelerating nonetheless, dumbass.
How? Without a force?
You claim there is no force.
It's accelerating. We all can agree it's accelerating, except for you for some return.
Yeah, but what's the force causing this acceleration?
Who gives a fuck?
Who gives a fuck? Exactly. But does it accelerate, Chemo? Can you answer the question? When you let a balloon go, a helium balloon, does it accelerate up?
Well, of course not. It's finding equilibrium.
Chemo, we can't even start talking about a cause if we can't agree on the phenomenon. And your idea of this phenomenon is closing your eyes and going, la, 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 can't hear, you can't see this.
No, we know the cause to the direction of an object.
No one here talked about the cause. No one here mentioned the cause.
It's meaningless to talk about the cause.
But you're not getting it, are you? If we know the cause, then we know it's not an acceleration. We have cause and effect.
Hey, what are the scientific steps, Chemo? What is the first thing you're supposed to do before you start talking about causes or theories?
Well, we have an observed phenomena.
Yes, you're exactly right. And we're trying to agree on this observed phenomenon that you're just denying. It's acceleration. We can observe things to be accelerating. That's an effect that we're observing.
Until they change the medium.
Hey,
but
genius.
when they change the medium, does it still accelerate? Or when you change the medium, there is no acceleration all of a sudden? Or even worse than that, dude, just shush.
So an egg floating on salt water is accelerating? No, of course not.
Repeat that.
An egg floating on salt water is accelerating.
Correct. It does not accelerate. You are amazing because it's at the same place. How did you come to this conclusion?
No, I'm asking you. An egg resting on top of salt water is accelerating to you.
It wants to.
It wants to what?
There's a fight, right, between forces, right?
What forces?
So you're saying you know what? I'll answer your question. Does it accelerate? No, it doesn't.
That's correct.
Now what? Yeah, so now what?
Proving there's no acceleration.
Oh, I see. So I'll take your water with the egg and I'll put a coin in those water. Will the coin stay or will it accelerate downward?
It depends.
Let me ask you a question, Chemo. Do you think bowling balls and feathers fall at the same fucking rate, moron? Do you watch YouTube
don't be
videos
rude, David.
where you put a feather in a bowling ball and they put it on a video and you watch it and the feather looks like it falls? Do you believe that?
In a vacuum, yes.
So you actually believe that terminal velocity wouldn't take over and that bowling ball outrun that damn feather to the damn...
In a vacuum, there would be no terminal velocity.
See how the communist propaganda, that's a total ball flying.
Oh, that's a good point there.
I don't know where you think the terminal velocity comes from.
That's a good point there, Sky. Sick dog. Sick spider. Things don't fall at the same rate in a vacuum.
But they do.
They do. I never talked, by the way, about the vacuum. That was not me, and I actually, the opposite than you. If it's a vacuum, all objects will fall at the exact same rate.
No, that's not true. There's no science to back that up.
Not only that it's true, it's demonstrable and shown to be true, and that's what I call
so
denial.
You're saying you can show real time.
Denying reality that
you're
was
saying in real time
presented in front of you.
You're saying you can show in real time two objects falling at the same time in a vacuum.
Correct.
In real time.
What's real time? What
Not
does that
like
mean?
slow motion or something.
Kibo, this is the lie. This is where they've got everybody brainwashed when they put these little videos out of these communist sympathizers putting bowling balls and feathers.
Sympathizers.
Yeah, they're all. It's a lie. Quit
Thick
fucking
spider.
lying.
So,
Are you saying that you can show? Are you saying you can show in real time two objects falling at the same rate in a vacuum?
Yes.
Go on then.
No.
Why
They're
not?
lying. They're lying.
Are you
Kibo.
lying?
So, Kimo, can I just one last time? So you take the egg and the salt water, and you take another egg, and it will. How can I say it? No, I'll go back to the previous one. So you have an egg that that floats. You say float or stayed at the same time, so there's no acceleration, and you put a different object in the same medium, but it is accelerating downward.
Like what?
What does it? Like a coin, like a ball of metal.
Well, why is that accelerating?
You're saying that because the egg is staying in the same place, all other objects will stay at the same place.
No, it's relative density disequilibrium, so it depends on the
right.
Have you seen the density table before?
I have.
So you got the ping pong ball at the top, different objects in the middle, and the bolt at the bottom, right? Now we can get that bolt to the top by changing the medium to, say, mercury or something. And if we make it more dense at the bottom and have a really dense object, we can switch things around, change direction, different positions, all because of the relative density. No force.
Yeah, amazing. So you're moving into density and buoyancy, which is great, but that's not answering the question, because if it doesn't matter what the medium is,
not buoyancy,
you can always put something that is a bit heavier, right? That will drop eventually.
And then we just change the medium again, and then it rises back up.
Right. So when those things drop, no matter what the medium is, do they accelerate?
No.
Yeah, you're an idiot. Okay, thank you.
Well, you need a force for acceleration, dear boy.
Yeah, but do they accelerate? And again, we're going back to that. You're saying that they need a force. That's not the question. The question is, what do you see? Do we see acceleration?
Can I ask a question of Chemo? Can you please define the word acceleration? Because I don't think everybody's using it to mean the same thing in this conversation.
Well, how do you define acceleration? I define
No.
I think he asked you.
No.
Yeah, I define it as a rate in the change of velocity.
Over
time.
Thank you. So, when I drop a pen, does it accelerate?
So, what's the problem here?
Is that any change in velocity over time, or is it...
Oh, for goodness sakes, what's this 21 questions? I've defined it for you. What's your issue?
It's been 2 questions to to try to move on this conversation that is boring as hell and has been going on for the last 45 minutes.
All right, then. So bring something practical, and we can keep out the poetry philosophy.
It is very boring, Chemo. Very boring.
He's so afraid. You are so afraid of the answer. You're actually terrified of answering. It's just a bit sad to see.
I mean, like I said, we've got the answer for why things
you didn't answer. What do you mean we got the answer for? You didn't answer. You don't dare to answer.
This is interesting, this bit. This is great.
No, I'm saying we have the answer for why things fall. We have cause and effect. Now, on your ball, you have to accept Einsteinian, and that's it.
I don't have to accept anything.
That means no
I don't know what you're
acceleration.
talking about.
But in both paradigms, flat Earth and your globe, there's no acceleration.
That is
acceleration
wrong.
Is old news.
That is
guys.
wrong. That is demonstrably wrong. You dropped things in your life. You know it's wrong. You know they accelerate. You just can't admit it here. Here, let's do this. Let's do it. You mute yourself, say yes, and then unmute yourself, and then no one here will hear it, so you'll be fine.
Look, I don't know what more to say. Both paradigms, there is no acceleration.
It's got nothing to do with paradigm. It's got to do with reality, and it doesn't matter. Even if the Earth is flat, Earth is flat, when we drop things, they accelerate.
Who is this guy forsaking the entertainment of the masses?
Chemo. That's who.
It's not Chemo that I'm hearing that's making me want to fucking shoot my computer right now.
You're talking about me that I'm pressing on the same point over and over again?
Who are you?
Yeah.
I'm too lazy to push. Who are you?
You aren't
going to get anywhere with the point, and it's.
But he doesn't know that. It's not his fault.
I know he doesn't. But I think there does come a point where it's just, it's been going on over an hour.
This is Chemo's fault. This is no one's fault but Chemo. I agree we should stop, but it's Chemo's fault.
I'll let go.
But now he's trying to grow up Chemo after the way he acted when he came in here.
Got 5 or
You're as
6
big
hours
a troll as he is, dude. What gives?
What?